Thank you. I think it's the valedictory speech. Uh, we have with us Dr. Shariful Islam. He's an associate professor and chairperson in the Department of International Relations, Rajshahi University. For Temi and others, Rajshahi is a place which is about 300 miles or no, 200 miles from Dhaka, right? Shariful Islam? It will be around that. So this is also one of the leading public universities of the country and one of the oldest, and it has good faculties, which and the faculty members and the researchers are contributing extraordinarily for the last 6 decades or more. And Mr. Shariful Islam, just what I have got here, is also an adjunct research fellow at the KRF Center of Bangladesh and Global Affairs. He's recently published a book titled Blue Economy Diplomacy for Bangladesh. So all we have discussed so far is blue economy, business, investment. We did talk a little about the collaboration, advocacy. Now we need diplomacy. And this is also refers to Dr. Ratan said that we need more clarity about this. And in order for you to do diplomacy on blue economy, you need to be very clear first that what you are going to talk about as a traditional diplomacy and also part of public diplomacy. So, Dr. Shariful Islam, so I would love to hear from you.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, thank you so much indeed. Actually, when I was a student at the University of Dhaka, I think in 2008, then I first met you in a debate. It is a great pleasure. You are moderating this session. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Rajshahi University, as Sir mentioned. And I definitely thanks to SIMEC Institute of Technology for inviting me in this last speech. So since this is the last speech, I'll be trying to be brief. As well as since I worked on blue economy diplomacy, so I was wondering that I'll be talking about international cooperation for blue economy development, opportunities and future pathways for Bangladesh. So here I'll be looking at why international cooperation is necessary and what are the major actors where we can focus on, or where Bangladesh did earlier, or what would be the future pathways. Since blue economy has been discussed in the last 2 days, so I'll not go in details that on the question of that's the why blue economy. So I'll be very brief. If you look at food and nutrition security, I mean, our population is increasing, but the sources of food is decreasing. So we have to go the oceans for food and nutrition security. And there are lots of studies that why we should go oceans. Then we have also, fishermen whose livelihoods depend on the oceans. So it's called livelihood security. So for livelihood security, we need also blue economy. And definitely for energy security, ecological security, and finally, for a sustainable trade and development, we need to focus on blue economy. Then the question is, why do we need to focus on international cooperation for blue economy development? If you look at the existing literature, that there is a UN concept paper on blue economy, where it is argued that, I quote, "The need for structured international cooperation underpins all aspects of the blue economy." I mean, while you are talking any aspect of blue economy, you need international cooperation, and it is recognized at the global level. Beyond international cooperation, I mean, there are major actors like there are regional actors, there are global actors, there are also role of the major powers. There is a book called Rethinking the Oceans Towards the Blue Economy, written by Sicily's president, former president, James Michel. So in that book, it is argued that until or unless there is a cooperation among the major powers, you can't explore or harness the blue economy potentials to a larger extent. So here, the role of major powers also becomes important. Then my another question is, why does Bangladesh need international cooperation for blue economy development? So I found there are several reasons, like first, given the interconnected nature of the oceans, international cooperation is essential for the success of blue economy development in Bangladesh. Second, if you look at Bangladesh's context and reality, is that Bangladesh has economic, manpower, and technological limitations. I think it is already discussed in the last 2 days to exploit its blue economy potential. So since you have technological limitations or manpower limitation, our manpower is not also, trained up. So you have also, resource limitations because blue economy needs investments. So definitely you need international cooperation. Third, Bangladesh also requires security cooperation because maritime security is called the enabler of blue economy. I mean, if maritime domain is not secured, your marine resources will not be protected or secured. So maritime security is seen as an enabler of blue economy. That's why you need also security cooperation with other states and non-state actors. Fourth, there is a high probability of both inter and intrastate conflicts among the fishers. Why among the fishers? Because there is a shrinking maritime space over fishing. That's really count, or that's really taken into seriously. Fifth, international cooperation is also vital for technology transfer for the pursuit of blue economy cooperation. Because if you look at today's, for instance, marine shipping or marine fisheries or shipping or other, technology is playing a very important role in this context. You need also, that's called international cooperation is also important for combating blue economy challenges. For instance, if you talk about piracy or IUU fishing or climate change challenges like ocean acidification, or there's the rise of that's called dead zones in the Bay of Bengal region. So you need also international cooperation. And finally, international cooperation is the key in order to explore and harness Bangladesh's blue economy potential, because Bangladesh as a nation, cannot explore and harness its or address its challenges on its own. For instance, as I mentioned earlier, the challenges from climate change, for instance, ocean acidification, or the rise of dead zones. It's an emerging challenge which really needs to be taken into account. So I found that these are the reasons. It's not watertight compartment. There might be more reasons. We need more research, and that's why this fellowship or this webinar comes into being, or becomes important. Now, another question I tried to look at, who are the major actors? If you look at global blue economic cooperation, then I found that, there is international financial institutions like World Bank. There is European Union, China, Netherlands, Norway. So I'll be trying to coming later. So first, if you look at the World Bank has a program on blue economy that's called ProBlue. So ProBlue is an umbrella multi-donor trust fund, which is administered by the World Bank, which is designed to help countries in the blue economy sectors. So this is specifically designed to help, in the blue economy sectors. So this is important. So ProBlue plays a key role in raising awareness and promoting investment. So investment becomes very important because in the context of Bangladesh, I do believe that until or unless there is investment, you can't explore and harness blue economy potentials. And since its creation in 2018, so this ProBlue program has been created in 2018. So after that, ProBlue has already supported more than 181 projects in 80 countries. So that's a significant amount or significant number. So that's really matters. The World Bank's overall ocean portfolio is worth $8 billion in active projects as of June 2023. So this portfolio includes sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, integrated coastal and marine ecosystem management, circular economy, and improved solid waste management of marine plastics, sustainable coastal tourism, maritime transport, and offshore renewable energy. So these are the basically sectors where World Bank is financing. So as a country, Bangladesh also needs to focus on how can we get such funds from World Bank. There is also already a project I'll be coming later. There is another important that's called ADB, Asian Development Bank, and European Investment Bank. So in 2019, in May, Asian Development Bank launched a $5 billion Healthy Oceans Action Plan. So they also started this program to finance and technical assistance, in the sustainable blue economy sectors, including fisheries sectors, ports, and infrastructure in the Asian Pacific region. ADB also, cooperating with the European Investment Bank. So in 2019, if I give you an example, that European Investment Bank committed to more than double its lending for ocean-based projects, which is worth 2.7 billion US dollar for the next 5 years between 2019 and 2023 under its Blue Sustainable Ocean Strategy. So that means ADB, European Investment Bank, World Bank, they are giving so much importance on blue economy projects. Then beyond this international financial institutions or regional financial institutions, we have China. I mean, China is nowadays, whether we like or not, is a leading global actor in global blue economy cooperation. For instance, if I give you an example, that China has already been carrying out that's called fisheries cooperation with nearly 20 African countries. So this is very important for Bangladesh because if you look at our marine fishery areas of marine fisheries, our more than 80% areas have been unexplored because we can't fish because of our lack of what you call shipping or lack of manpowers or training and so forth. So this is an area where we should look at. For instance, Chinese company also inked partnerships with local fishermen and provided them with modern fishery facilities. And that's also becomes important for Bangladesh. I mean, we also need modern fisheries facilities. And Africa has a blue economy strategy for 2030 and 2063. This is matter why? Because they have a long-term vision that by 2063 they want to create 78 million jobs from blue economy sectors. I mean, it's not a matter of joke. It really matters. So they have a long-term vision from a regional perspective, but you will not see such kind of regional vision or regional approach from South Asian perspective. I mean, while they're focusing on 2063, I'm not sure how much we are focusing as a region. So beyond national scale, we have to also go to regional scale. Then if I come into Bangladesh, I mean, what are the what the major potential partners and areas of collaboration for Bangladesh? I mentioned that since financial institutions are really important, so Bangladesh needs to deepen cooperation, blue economy cooperation with financial institutions. And investment is essential factor in the execution of blue economic goals. It doesn't matter how much we talk, but if there is no investment, we will not see any outcome or output. In 2018, the World Bank approved a $240 million US project for Bangladesh's sustainable coastal and marine fisheries project. So World Bank already, approved $240 million US. I think we need more investment, which will be ended in June 2025. I mean, in this year, in next month, this project will be ended. And if you look at the result, actually, I'm not so much satisfied with the results, but there is some positive sides, like 8,500 additional fishing vessels brought under effective monitoring and surveillance. 8,500 additional fishing vessels got under surveillance. But we need marine. If you look at marine fisheries sector, we need shipping. Okay, because our traditional boats, they can't go beyond 60 or 70 kilometers, while we have around 600 or 700 kilometers. Where we can catch fish, marine fishes. So we need marine shipping as well as so this is very important. And they also provided some loans and during COVID pandemic, while 7,500 aquaculture smallholders had access to productivity, financing, and markets. Something is better than nothing. So I think some fishermen or a few thousand of fishermen got some kind of benefits, like in terms of loans during COVID period. But I think the projects could be more, more productive for the sustainable blue economy sectors of Bangladesh. But Bangladesh requires actually massive funding from World Bank. Then you have European Union. So what Bangladesh did with European Union? Bangladesh also collaborated with European Union in a technical project. And the title of the project was European Union Bangladesh Government Joint Collaboration on Blue Economy. The project was for 2 years between 2016 and 2018. And under this project, Bangladesh has identified key blue economy sectors. After that, I didn't see so much. They have identified, I think 26 sectors were identified under this project. But after that, what's after? So I didn't see so much what's after. That's why the question was, in the last session. So what's after? So that's really important. in terms of European Union, I have seen a major development. That means in 2023, in October 2023, European Union, European Investment Bank, and Bangladesh signed agreements that was worth 400 million euro for Bangladesh's renewable energy projects to contribute to sustainable green transition of Bangladesh's power sector. I think that becomes very important because if you look at future of Bangladesh, you have to look at renewable energy from the oceans. So from that context, I mean, this funding would be imperative for Bangladesh's blue economy sectors. And if you look at Kenya, an African country, which is implementing a landmark project for advancing its blue economy agenda with European Union partnership. And the timeline of the project is, 2021 to 2024, and they had, huge budget. So Bangladesh also requires such kind of budget from the European Union. If you compare to Kenya and European Union's investment in Kenya in that project and Bangladesh's, investment, that is, minimal compared to Kenya. So Bangladesh requires such kind of large amounts of funding from European Union as well. So where is the lacking? Our lacking is that we have a very poor blue economy diplomacy. So if you look at blue economy diplomacy perspective, we couldn't harness it. So then we have also did cooperation with India. For instance, in 2015, we signed an MOU on blue economy cooperation in Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean region. And 10 areas of cooperation areas were identified, but I didn't see so much progress or so much that's called implementation phase. So it is also not satisfactory. But to me, as a researcher, I always think that for Bangladesh's maritime security, India becomes important. You can't ignore India's role whenever Bangladesh's maritime security comes in. Then Japan was also an important actor in Bangladesh's blue economy cooperation. And in the pursuit of blue economy potentials, Bangladesh definitely needs Japanese cooperation because Japan has expertise in marine fisheries and shipping sector. Bangladesh and Japan agreed to promote blue economy cooperation during Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's visit in 2014. So they agreed to cooperate, but after that also, we only see, that they always agree that yes, we will cooperate in blue economic cooperation. I don't know what are the challenges or impediments, but we don't see so much outcomes after that. But what Japan did, Japan actually helped or helping in the development of Matabari deep sea port. That's really important for Bangladesh's blue economy. And Japan also provided rescue boats. There are 24 rescue boats to Bangladesh Coast Guard in 2021. Because you need to also strengthen your coast guards and navy. Until or unless you have strong coast guards or navy, you can't protect your marine resources. So in that context, Japanese cooperation becomes definitely important. Then Bangladesh also cooperated with China. In what dimension? Within 4 days of the MOU with India on blue economy, on 10 June 2015, Bangladesh Foreign Ministry received a draft memorandum of understanding from Beijing, expressing its interest to sign a blue economy agreement with Bangladesh. But we don't see so much, in the media, or I don't know why it doesn't come in. Then what happened, whether the memorandum of understanding signed or not, and what are the areas, or I don't know. As a researcher, I didn't get it. But China is cooperating in the larger framework that's called Indian Ocean Region Forum.
Dr. Sharif, I'm sorry that I shouldn't interrupt with the valedictory speech, but if you could conclude it like in next 1 or 2 minutes, will that be possible? So
definitely, sir.
Okay.
Then Norway is another important country because Norway is heavily investing in all aspects of blue economy, like in seafood, biotechnology, maritime services, and so forth. So Bangladesh can also get benefit from Norway's experience. Then you also have Netherlands and Australia can be another option. Bangladesh Netherlands Investment Summit happened in 2020, but I didn't see also so much after that. So what Bangladesh needs to do at this context? So first of all, how much we talk, it doesn't matter. If Bangladesh cannot establish, that's called Ministry of Blue Economy. And you'll be astonished to hear that many African countries have already established such kind of ministry. Okay, so Bangladesh needs to establish Ministry of Blue Economy first of all. Secondly, we have to prioritize maritime domain, both in policy and theory. I mean, in academia as well as in policy, it needs to be prioritized. And we also need to employ a strong blue economy diplomacy. Finally, we need to emphasize on technology cooperation. And finally, and lastly, we need to prioritize blue economy research and innovations. So here, this conference or this webinar comes in. So if I conclude, blue economy holds the key to sustainable future of Bangladesh, especially in view of the growing population in the country on the one hand, and the emerging scarcities of resources, including the shrinking of arable land on the other. I argue that in order to exploit the opportunities in the blue economy sectors, including the marine fisheries that I mentioned, and to address the challenges in harnessing those opportunities, Bangladesh requires cooperation from other states and non-state actors. And in this context, once again, pursuing active blue economy diplomacy for Bangladesh becomes essential. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, indeed, for everyone to listening me.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Shariful Islam, for giving the valedictory speech. And there's a traditional goes that after the valedictory speech, we don't ask any question. I mean, it's an honor that somebody has agreed to deliver this lecture or that speech. We try to realize this, we try to understand this, and of course, Dr. Sharif would be available after this to have more interactions on this. And I'm quite sure all the fellows here would strongly agree that we need diplomacy, obviously, to carry these issues forward. As Temi was mentioning, that when you are communicating with the Australian High Commissioner in Dhaka, it is a matter of diplomacy. It's a piece of diplomacy. When you're doing international advocacy or networking, it's part of diplomacy. And he has spoken quite extensively, I think more than, very comprehensively. And, regionally, we need India on board if you want to have really that broader blue economy management in this area. Even, for example, if you look into the issues of Rohingya crisis, which has something to do with the blue economy issue, and unless you have good relationship with Myanmar, can you imagine your vast sea area without having good diplomacy with India and Myanmar? And China is a big player, obviously. And if you take into account the examples of Japan and Australia, for example, this is very unfortunate that we have diplomatic ties with both these countries for more than 5 decades. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to establish that contact, which would really benefit us in developing and planning blue economy at this stage. And Dr. Shariful has clearly pointed out that we need to collaborate with international financial institutions like the World Bank and other bigger parties, and as well as those who have got expertise in this, those who have great success in this. But diplomacy is a must at the regional level, at the international level. We have an organization called BIMSTEC, but we're not quite sure that, thus far, whether BIMSTEC has been very successful in carrying forward the blue economy planning and blue economy sustainability it's not a region, it's a multilateral kind of thing. This is a very complicated thing. SARC is a kind of defunct now, so not playing any role. So we need collaboration within South Asia. We need collaboration with the ASEAN countries. We need collaboration with Australia and the Pacific and the other islands. Also, we need very strong ties diplomatically with Australia, with Japan, countries like Norway, for example. Many of the Nordic countries have been very successful in managing their sea resources. But I think without much ado, I think we're very grateful to Dr. Shariful Islam for bringing these issues and the end of this program, the blue economy diplomacy and the need for the regional cooperation, for international cooperation, as well as what kind of strategy we should develop, for our, future blue economy sustainability. And of course, very importantly, the collaboration with international bigger institutions and also with the non-state actors. It may not be always the state actors. So I think both the formal diplomacy, informal diplomacy, and as well as the public diplomacy will be required in order for all of us to work together towards a better blue economy future. I think with this, we should conclude this valedictory speech session, and I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Ratan Kumar Roy and Temi for the closing one. Thank you.
I think I'll say that this is all. I don't want to say anything after what the valedictory was. If Tami wants to say something, and then we all can leave.
I'm happy not to say anything other than it's been really great engaging with you over the past year, and my best wishes to everyone.